Hey everybody, how's it going? I know this is kind of weird for me to be filming a video with sunglasses on, but I'm just trying it out because I think that it will make it less obvious that I'm looking at myself and not at the camera over here. So we'll see how this goes. I should probably invest in a camera for making more of these videos. Let me know what you guys think. If you think the iPhone format is fine and you're not bothered by it, let me know. But if it becomes a bit of an issue with focus, I know at least one person has said that I look like I'm staring off into space, and that's because I'm filming on an iPhone and the camera is over there and I'm over here. Um, but, anyways, enough technical stuff. I wanted to talk today about an interesting subject, and that is why you're not getting promoted. Yeah, because you're not getting promoted, are you? It's weird. There are a lot of people that know they have skills, they have the technical skills necessary to get paid more money, but when push comes to shove and when that limited budget comes around and someone gets promoted and it's not you, you probably want to know why. And I'll be honest with you, I've never been a high level sales director or engineering director, so I can't disclose everything that I'm thinking about and assume that it's the same as what those folks think about, but I work with a lot of those people. So, as a sales engineer, one of the things that has made this role interesting for me is that I actually get to talk to many of the managers of companies that you might work for um, in industries all across uh, all across technical depth. So I've talked to people that work in banks, in telecoms, in healthcare, and all across many industries. And I've worked myself not only on the vendor side in software, but also in hardware. I've worked in education. I've worked in pharmaceutical. So I've had my hand in a number of different industries. And some of the criteria that those managers think about may not necessarily be obvious to you as a sort of boots on the ground engineer. So here's the first one. The first thing you need to think about is that your job, whether you are technical or not, is to make your company money. Now, you may end up working in a public sector business, meaning that you are funded by the government. And so you aren't responsible for revenue there, you're a cost center. Um, and the truth is that IT and engineering for a lot of businesses are cost centers. So you might think, oh, that doesn't mean that I'm in the business of making money. This is actually not true. Uh, One of the things that you need to be aware of is that not spending money to those kind of businesses is making money essentially, because every group within your company is allocated a specific pool of capital that they get to use every year and that they get to use to run their portion of the business. So basically, their customer is this high up budget that comes from operating expenses from your company. And basically, your job is to maximize that money because you are a contractor to the rest of your company whose job is to further their business, whether it's power, whether it's taking over market share, whether it is consolidating business into fewer and fewer competitors, whatever the company or your organization's goal is, you think about your team and you specifically as a contractor that is working for that company, that like external company. Every company and every organization sort of is divided up into these little companies, and every uh, boss that you have and every customer that you have cares about four things. It all can boil down to these four things. Can I make money? Can I save money? Are you risking my ability to do either of those things? So, in other words, security. And how fast can you do it? And those really are the only things that matter: speed, security, make, and take. If you want to think about it as like individual words. So every action that you take as an engineer needs to be put up against that mental benchmark of, am I compromising or helping in these 4 areas? And different companies are going to have different priorities here. I work with a customer in particular where security is the number one thing that they think about. And the reason being is that their posture in their business is that they are perceived as not being as safe as their competitors. So by having safety be top of mind, then it gives them a strategic foothold. For some companies, it's all they care about is top line revenue. It's just like, we will spend whatever it takes to make top line revenue because we know that our total available market is so large that we're just going to go out there and aggressively grab. And not every business is like that, and some businesses aren't. So you need to know at your company where you're working what that landscape looks like. What is the mix of those 4 levers that you can pull? The second reason maybe you aren't getting promoted is you're not communicating what I just told you. So it's one thing to know specifically what your role is in pulling those 4 levers. It's another thing entirely for you to be able to communicate that. And some of it is speaking, like what I'm doing right now. Some of it is writing things down, like emails and documentation. If you haven't already started a brag sheet, I would do that like immediately. Go make a set of different areas you've had impact on the business and keep that document rolling. And essentially, when you go to get promoted, if there's a promotion packet or if there's just a conversation with your manager, that document comes with you. And it is your evidence that you deserve a raise or that you deserve a promotion to a new role. Some of that communication includes having facts. So it's one thing to be able to talk your way through something, like what I'm doing right now. I'm essentially talking to you off the cuff. I actually don't have a script for this video. I kind of do, but I'm going off of it for a minute. That's great, and some people have that skill, and I know I have that skill, but having specific facts to back you up is even more powerful. And it's important that you don't fudge those facts. You want to make sure that you have data to support them, because a manager or somebody else that has a little bit more visibility on the rest of the business may call you out if it doesn't match with what other of your peers are doing. Here's the thing: if you're going to be a tall poppy, you've got to be a tall poppy with a strong stalk. There are going to be a lot of people that are going to be performing less well than you, but because they actually have data to back them up, they may end up getting the job and you don't. So if you're going to be the strong person in your company, and you're going to be the strong person that gets promoted and moves your way up, you've got to have the data to back it up. Some of that can come from peers too. So another reason you may not be getting promoted is you may not be building up a good relationship set with your peers and with other people at your company to help back you up. When you start getting into roles that are very, very high level, one thing that becomes a hard requirement is to have references. Now, those references, when you're getting a job, usually it's like people you've worked with in your past, right? In my world, it's oftentimes customers. So it is a specific relationship that you have worked with in the past for a customer. You want to build those. But if you are not customer facing, other people inside your company might be really good. You may be able to get references from people you wouldn't normally expect. It's one thing for you to have influence on your own team, right? For you to have a peer that says, oh, this person helped me with this blah, blah, blah project. It's another thing for you to build more powerful references that are outside of your team. Those could be people that are higher up, which is the thing that people obviously think about in terms of references. Like, yes, of course, getting my boss or my boss's boss to write a reference is going to be powerful. But what about auxiliary teams? What about people that you work with that are not directly in your engineering chain? Like, are you building assets to help marketing out with some sort of marketing campaign, some public marketing campaign? Are you going and speaking at a conference on behalf of your company? There are different ways that you can be involved that grow your sphere of influence outside of your own organization. And the truth is, the more you do that, that's Those are the activities that get you in demand for higher pay, because a company's not just going to pay you more money. They're not. They're going to pay you what's commensurate with your amount of influence that you have, whether it is influence on a product, influence on an industry, or influence on a particular geography. And those are the pieces that you need to put together when you are trying to get promoted, or when you're trying to put together a body of evidence to bring to management to ask for a raise. So hopefully that was helpful. Let me know if there are any questions or comments, or if you have any other tips and tricks. I'd love to see them in the comments. Thanks so much.